He never looked like a criminal. No tattoos. No flashy jewelry. No expensive cars. On the outside, he was invisible, a quiet, ordinary man who blended into crowds and slipped through airports unnoticed. But inside the world of the Sinaloa cartel, he was one of the most important people alive. They called him El Mensajero, the messenger, not because he delivered packages, but because he delivered orders. Orders that could shift millions of dollars. Orders that could move tons of narcotics across borders. Orders that could start or stop a war. And the most shocking part? He carried these orders straight from El Chapo himself, even while the world's most hunted drug lord sat behind prison walls. For years, law enforcement wondered the same thing. How is El Chapo still running a global empire from inside a cell? This was how. The messenger operated in total silence. He had no official rank, no public identity, and he wasn't even on the cartel payroll. He wasn't a hitman. He wasn't a trafficker. He was simply a loyal, disciplined, and unusually intelligent man chosen for one job: to carry information from El Chapo to the outside world without ever getting caught. And for nearly a decade, he was perfect. Imagine the visiting room inside Altiplano prison. It's cold, plain, and controlled. Every sound echoes. Every movement is watched. Every word is supposed to be recorded. For ordinary inmates, conversations are limited and monitored. For El Chapo, the prison's most dangerous prisoner, security was on a completely different level. Guards stood at the corners of the visiting room. Cameras watched from the ceiling. Microphones captured every sound. But the messenger was trained for this environment. He entered the room carrying absolutely nothing. No paper, no pen, no phone, no contraband. Just a calm face and a clear memory. He would sit across from El Chapo, passing as a distant family contact. They'd talk casually about the weather, family, food, anything to seem normal. But beneath this harmless small talk was a highly sophisticated coded language. A simple tap on the table could mean approved. A hand brushing the beard might mean delay the shipment. A sudden cough could signal change the route. A slight pause before responding to a question might mean danger. To anyone else watching, it looked like two men just talking about meaningless topics. But to the cartel commanders waiting on the outside, it was the language of war. The messenger memorized everything. He didn't blink. He didn't lose focus. He didn't forget a single detail. In some visits, El Chapo would write tiny notes on scraps of toilet paper, just a few sentences each. The messenger would read them quickly, memorize the contents, and then El Chapo would burn the paper with a lighter, supposedly used for prison staff paperwork. Nothing ever left that room physically. The messenger walked out with nothing but the clothes he came in with, and a head full of secrets worth billions of dollars. Leaving the prison was always the most dangerous moment. One mistake, one nervous look, one suspicious gesture, and everything would collapse. But the messenger had ice in his veins. He walked through metal detectors without flinching. He passed by dogs trained to detect electronics. He stood calmly as guards checked his pockets, his waistband, even the soles of his shoes. He mastered the art of blending in. He'd make small talk with the guards. He'd smile. If a guard joked, he laughed politely. If a guard questioned him, he answered calmly and without hesitation. If a guard tried to intimidate him, he remained unshaken. By the time he stepped out into the sunlight, the memories were already organized in his mind, like folders inside a filing cabinet. He never wrote them down. He never recorded them. He certainly never sent them by phone. He stored them in perfect order inside his brain, then replayed them word for word to the trusted cartel bosses waiting outside the prison walls. For years, the messenger was the single reason El Chapo could still move drugs, shift money, control alliances, and order targeted killings, all from inside a maximum security cell. So, how did this invisible man gain such an incredible level of trust? It wasn't just about his memory. It was about his unwavering loyalty, honed over years of service long before El Chapo's capture. He was chosen because he had proven time and again that he was unbreakable. He understood the stakes better than anyone. One slip-up wouldn't just land him in prison. It would dismantle an entire empire. His training went beyond simple memorization. He studied body language, learning how to read guards, predict their patterns, and exploit moments of lax security. He learned to control his own biometrics, his heart rate, his breathing, his perspiration. He practiced remaining calm under intense pressure until it became second nature. He was, In a way, a ghost, present but unseen, powerful but silent. Think about the sheer psychological pressure. Day after day, visit after visit, he carried the weight of a multi-billion-dollar criminal enterprise on his shoulders. The information he carried was so sensitive that even knowing it put a target on his back from rival cartels and law enforcement agencies around the world. Yet, he lived a seemingly normal life on the outside. He was a neighbor, a shopper in the local market, a face in the crowd. No one suspected that the man standing next to them in line was the living, breathing connection to the world's most notorious drug lord. This clandestine system worked flawlessly for years, baffling authorities who couldn't figure out how El Chapo's influence remained so potent. They tapped phones, intercepted messages, and monitored financial transactions, but they were looking in all the wrong places. The communication channel wasn't digital or physical, it was human. It was all stored in the mind of one man. The messenger's role was a testament to the old-school methods of organized crime, updated for the modern age of surveillance. In a world of encrypted phones and hidden networks, the most secure method of communication turned out to be the one that couldn't be hacked, traced, or intercepted: the human mind. El Chapo understood that technology could be compromised, but a truly loyal and disciplined individual was a fortress. This story highlights a critical vulnerability in even the most secure prison systems. You can build higher walls, install more cameras, and hire more guards, but you can't police the space between two people's words. You can't record a silent gesture or decode a conversation hidden in plain sight. As long as human contact is allowed, a path for communication will exist, and for a mastermind like El Chapo, that was all he needed. The tale of El Mensajero isn't just about crime. It's about intelligence, discipline, and the incredible capacity of the human mind under extreme pressure. He was a key that unlocked a prison cell from the outside, a ghost in the machine that kept a global empire running. His story is a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun or a bomb, but a secret whispered in a quiet room. When cartel leaders saw the messenger approaching, everything stopped. Meetings paused. Phones went silent. Bodyguards stepped aside. Because they all knew, whatever came out of the messenger's mouth came straight from El Chapo. And no one questioned El Chapo. The messenger delivered his memorized messages clearly and precisely. If he said a shipment must be delayed, it was delayed. If he said a lieutenant must be replaced, he was replaced. If he said a rival must be removed, action was taken within hours. He wasn't a boss. He didn't pretend to be powerful, but his words carried the weight of a king. He controlled cartel decisions more effectively than some generals. He influenced wars, alliances, betrayals, all without holding a weapon or commanding a platoon. Someone not appearing in official cartel structures. Someone who came and left unnoticed. Agents began looking for men who visited El Chapo regularly, but who weren't blood relatives. Only 3 names matched the profile. One of them was the messenger. For months, intelligence analysts studied his movement. He traveled quietly. He avoided flashy purchases. He used cheap prepaid phones. He changed vehicles often but never to luxury cars. He stayed at small hotels, not safe houses. He acted like a ghost, and that made him suspicious. But there was one mistake. One tiny slip. A cartel lieutenant bragged during a wiretap call. Don't worry. The old man already told us. The messenger said it yesterday. The DEA froze. The messenger. It was the first time they had heard the nickname spoken aloud. And suddenly, the ghost had a name. Not his real name, but his role. That was enough. Once the DEA discovered the nickname, everything changed. They built a task force with one mission: identify the messenger, track him, expose his network, cut the chain between El Chapo and the outside world. Agents pored over thousands of hours of prison visitation logs. They studied faces, timestamps, travel patterns. But the messenger was careful. He never took the same route twice. He booked flights last minute. He rented cars using different IDs. He changed his hairstyle every few months. He always walked through public spaces to blend with crowds. He was good, too good. Then came the break. An airport surveillance camera caught a single detail: a man stepping off a flight from Mexico City, looking ordinary except for a distinctive habit. Every few steps, he tapped his thumb twice against his middle finger, the same way he signaled approval to El Chapo in the visitation room. A DEA analyst spotted it immediately. She froze the video, zoomed in. Same height, same build, same walking rhythm, same nervous habit. It had to be him. The hunt officially began.